I'd like to invite you to take a trip down memory lane with me. Think back to when you were about 13, 14 years of age, that exciting, slightly awkward, but important time of our life that we call adolescence. What did you do in your free time? Did you have any interests, hobbies, or activities that you did regularly, perhaps on your own or with your friends? Did you meet people through these activities that shaped who you are today? Maybe you still engage in these activities, or maybe your experiences are slightly less favorable. Perhaps you struggle to maintain an interest or hobby, or maybe you were forced to quit the activity that you enjoyed for reasons beyond your control. I'm interested in how young people spend their free time after school, and how the activities that we do in our free time shape our health, well-being, and development throughout life. And I do this by analyzing surveys filled out anonymously by people and talking to people to understand their experiences. And in childhood, play is incredibly important for children's development. But how we play and the activities we do and the amount of time we have for play changes as we get older. And in adolescence, engaging in some amounts of organized activities like playing a sport, learning a musical instrument, or being involved in a community group, these can provide some young people with opportunities. Opportunities to learn a new skill, explore a new identity, or feel a sense of belonging to a school or community. In fact, a recent review of scientific literature found that over 600 possible ways in which it's thought that the activities that we do in our free time can shape positively our health and our physical health and mental health. But I don't think anyone anticipated that we would drastically change the amount of free time we would have, whether that be a lot less or a lot more, or how we engage in our free time activities. And the impact at a national level of those changes happening. But on the 23rd of March, 2020, when we went into the first lockdown in the UK, we witnessed this. Overnight, we could no longer meet people outside our household face-to-face. We could no longer go outside of our house for more than 30 minutes for physical exercise or for essential shopping. And overnight, throughout the UK, community groups that once met face-to-face ceased meeting in that capacity and had to then, in some lucky cases, they were able to transition and meet in an online format if those delivering those activities had the skills, knowledge, and the resources to do so. Now, understandably, the amount of free time that we had during the pandemic would have been shaped by lots of different things, like working from home and homeschooling, or caring for others, or being furloughed. But research conducted in the first lockdown found that engaging in an interest or a hobby was an important way for some adults in coping with these unprecedented circumstances. And we also became very acutely aware of our immediate surroundings. And it's with this point in particular, I'd really like to highlight something that actually happened locally in our community that shows the strength of community groups working together in their free time to help society's most vulnerable. Down the road, in Llanharan, the Llanharan Community Council distributed flyers at the beginning of the pandemic, right in the beginning of the lockdown. And they distributed these flyers to every single household in the community. And the flyers asked two things. Do you need help? Are you isolating? And do you need help with your essential shopping or any errands? And the second question asked, can you help? Can you volunteer, provide your time to assist somebody locally in the community who might be vulnerable or isolating? And the Community Council set up a Community Resilience Volunteers group, matching the resources and the need within the community. At the same time, the Llanharan Rugby Club, though they could not meet to play rugby or watch rugby, the committee members, the rugby players, and the members within the community, they did a virtual fundraising event. They either ran, cycled, or walked in total the coastline of Wales 3.5 times in order to raise money for a charity. But they didn't raise money for just any charity. They raised money for a local charity called the Llanharan Community Development Project, known locally as the Llanharan Drop-In, which for 25 years in the community has been providing opportunities for people of all ages and abilities to experience opportunities through learning and through play. Now, this is the amazing part. With the donations generously received from the Clonharron Rugby Club, the Clonharron Community Development Project used the funds to create activity packs, little parcels of activities people could do at home in their leisure time, and organize cream teas. And they went back to the community council to ensure that these could be delivered to the people isolating in the village well after the first lockdowns had been lifted, ensuring that they went to those in most need. And it shows the strength, I think, of how community groups can come together to build on their different strengths and address a local challenge. And since then, the community groups have been distributing parcels and activity packs and cream teas to individuals in the community through additional lockdowns. But that's not enough. During the lockdown, a survey of 23,000 young people across the UK found that there was 3 things that impacted them the most. The first one was missing their friends and family, unsurprisingly. The second was their school or college closing. And the third was the interruption to the daily activities or just any activity or hobbies that they enjoyed. Now that we are seeing each other face to face a bit more, and schools are reopening, what are we doing about those 18 months of missed opportunities for young people to engage in activities and learn new skills? I saw recently an interview with Michael Sheen, and I just wanted to mention it briefly because I think he said something really important. In discussing the determinants of his successful career and the opportunities he had said, "I used to think it was just because I was so amazingly brilliant, but then I realized that's not what it was." He then went on to attribute his success to a supportive family, a supportive community, and a well-funded arts infrastructure. And in different societies, we see young people from less affluent families and from more disadvantaged areas and minority groups are far less likely to engage in organized activities, meaning that they potentially may not benefit from the same opportunities that their peers do. So what's my main message? My main message is this. Now that as we emerge from a pandemic, and yes, we're probably weary and tired in the last year and a half, and resources are stretched and money is tight, how can we as a community work together to support people? How can we work together to support young people in particular in accessing opportunities to help them discover their interests, their experiences, and help them build a sense of who they are? And how can we do this in a way that's affordable, accessible, and inclusive? Thank you.